there is a drag Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
Who would be on the said Rushmore? Who would be on the mountain?
Oh.
I did preface and said that this might cause some trouble.
It's not going to cause any trouble. Willem is definitely on there because Willem is my all-time favorite drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste is right next to Willem because Celeste is my drag mother. Then, this is hard. I think Bob the drag queen would be next to Celeste on the Rushmore. And how many faces are there? 4?
I believe there's 4.
So my 4th Rushmore drag person would more than likely be
MeMeCherry presents a series of fortunate events. Fortunate events. Fortunate events. Series of fortunate events.
Top of the morning to you, and welcome to the MeMeCherry production of the SOFE Pod. I don't actually talk like this. It's
morning.
it's just a fun way to say I'm Seamus Donohoe, still here thanks to this lovely soul. And guess what? We're having a Pod-aversary. Why? Because the wonderful MeMeCherry has turned 8 years old on this very...
Sophie Pod.
Sorry, Sophie Pod. Yes, you've turned other ages.
Legal age.
You've turned other age. Yes. Hey, folks, this one's legal. But today, we're trying something insane.
Insane in the membrane.
We have a little bit of a pre-bake
They were
going
Irish,
on
right?
today. What? Who?
Insane in the brain.
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the first white boy rappers.
Don't quote me on that. But yeah, today we're doing something a little bit different. Not to say because we need a crazy shakeup, but we do need. What we do need is to show a little.
About what we're not. We talk about what we are.
Absolutely. And what we are is we're taking the opportunity today, maybe potentially one time only, depends on how this goes, and just showing a little love to this one over here, because not only has she employed me, she's also taught me the reins of one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of. And honestly, it's a lot of fun to work with her, and I just want to show her some love. So, again, just so I don't screw up the intro, this is the one, the only, the lovely
MeMeCherry.
MeMeCherry. And like I said, we have a consenting takeover today. But
I offered this.
yes, this is her crazy idea.
This was my idea. We're scripting the flip, as I've said with Angel famously when Angel was on. But we're flipping the script and we're allowing you to take the host reins, and which has only happened once before with Mama Celeste in Florida in episode 100. And yes, I think in the previous take of our intro, we talked about a pre-bake. And so we're teasing the next live show that is baking themed. And so you said something about pre-baking me today.
Yes, we are pre-baking you today because you know what? I'm not saying I'm Barbara Walters, clearly, but I do have some ideas and I do have things that I want to know about this person. So I'm just going to jump right in. So I'm just going to start from the very basic. We were talking about an episode that we're working on, something to potentially add to the What's in My Snurse. So I'm going to start with this question. Before podcasting, before your gloriousness, before you knew that you were destined for YouTube fame, what was the one job as a kid that you aspired to be that you just got the most shit for?
You know, I don't know if I ever got shit for, like, what I wanted to be. You know what's kind of sad? Talk about like socializing and like things that they imprint on you at a young age. Like the first thing I remember wanting to be was a mom. Which I'm not, at least not of like a human child. And then I think after that, I think maybe a teacher for a bit. But like I had a hard time with that question actually.
Both thankless jobs, if you think about it.
Oh, but yeah, I used to have a hard time with that question of like, what do you want to be? It was hard for me to envision things that weren't like socialized in me.
I was going to say, I think another part of it, if I may, is that we also live in a world now where it's not just what do you want to be, but who do you want to be? Not just in terms of professionalism or professions in general, but there's just an identity crisis across the board.
Well, mind you, this was the 80s in Puerto Rico. So like there also were just very limited options that were modeled for me anyways.
Right.
And I think back then, like the biggest thing that people could aspire to was like a pharmacist, because like the pharmaceuticals were like taking over Puerto Rico at that time. And I remember a friend of a family, extended family, right? Family of a family, that it was like a big deal that they were in pharmacy school to be a pharmacist. And so like I remember like that was like a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah. And then my mom, right? My mom went to school for journalism. So like those were the things that were like modeled around me. But this is my version of going to school for journalism, is being a podcaster.
This really does feel like, and this is not pandering, but this really does feel like the greatest free education that I could ever ask for. Certainly,
paid.
Well, sure. Don't tell them that. No, but I mean,
I do pay you. We talk about it. That's why you should sign up for the Patreon.
Yes, please do. No, I just, I jokingly have always tried to come up with ways to express to my parents that like college wasn't for me.
Me neither. I tried. I'm still trying. Yeah,
that education, it has very different and many different forms, but like I'll pay you back, mom and dad, somehow, because it was, it was pretty steep. But okay, so
with
like
laughter, haha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm taking this semester off, but I went back to school part-time a couple years ago, taking like 1 or 2 classes a semester, because I tried when I was 18. I tried to go to college, and I for a long time I used to say that a family member got sick, and he did get sick, but that wasn't the main reason. I just didn't like school. I wasn't good at it, and I preferred working because they gave me a paycheck, and so I just chose to work and pay my mom rent, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I tried to go back to school then, like in my 20s, and again, it just didn't stick. And then now I'm trying again, and like this time it's for me, and not necessarily for like any kind of aspiration or anything. Like, again, I'm paying for it. It's just, to like, look, mom, I got a degree,
sure,
but like, what am I going to do with an art degree? But it has helped. Like, it will be up here. They're coming in the mail, stickers for the Patreon. That's like literally art that I made for homework. And like my final projects that I liked them so much, I hung them up, and I framed them and hung them up. And I'm like, well, if I like it enough to put it in a frame, let's make merch out of it.
Yeah. And speaking of merch, if you guys have an idea, we're ruminating on a bunch of different things, taking sort of a twist on the originality of this podcast. But if you guys have ideas of things that you would want to have, not just like personalized things, but like if you have an idea for a t-shirt that you would think would just pop this YouTube out, a millionfold, please let me know, right? Let us know, but specifically me, because I'm always trying to come up with brand new, cool, fresh, wonky things to add to the mix.
I think what's a better way to propose this call to action. Are you an artist? And do you see your art form blending itself to this podcast? Because I'm always looking for artists to collaborate with. A lot of the stickers and the t-shirts that become Patreon exclusive are collaborations that I've done with artists. So if you're an artist that likes to make kooky, fun, colorful things, and you would want to see it travel the world, because this stuff, I take it to the mail myself. It does go international.
We are a big fan of the kink and the kook on this show. So yeah, I agreed.
Yes. So hit both of us up. I mean,
Please
even
do.
my dog has an Instagram account. Hit her up.
Yeah, she'd love that. She would love the back scratches via the internets.
I mean, she has a sticker. Am I reaching for the right one?
I hope so.
Nope. But she's back here.
Reach for a star. Find a honey.
Yeah, she has her own sticker. I just dropped some of them in the mail. Anyways, continue flipping the script on me, asking me
So
questions.
one of the things that I wanted to talk...
Sorry, I just naturally take over my own show.
It's fine. It's not like you pay for the whole thing or anything. One thing that I want to really bring up and say to you more than anything else is how proud of you that I am.
Me?
Yes, how proud of you that I am.
This
that,
little garbage pail kid?
You've made the personal decision to quit the booze.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not an easy
time.
Journey. Not just because all your friends make it look so much fun.
This is not alcohol.
Non-alcoholic. I've tested it.
This is Recess. Shout out Recess Mood. It's magnesium and sparkling water. Woo!
Yeah, and I don't know when this is going to come out, but fun fact.
On the 14th, on the Pod-aversary.
On the Pod-aversary.
So 214 is 8 years.
Well, good. It'll be a good spoiler for Vegas then, because not even this one knows this, but I turned 12 years sober knock on whatever. There's wood around here. On February 28th. And without this wonderful soul, I would not A, have a booking in Vegas, never been booked in Vegas. B, wouldn't have something to do, aka collaborate, and wouldn't have another sort of kin friend, if you will, to be on this journey with, because it's not easy, folks. And the whole.
I had a dream last night that I was drinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what were you drinking?
No, I just remember the feeling of like. I feel like I remember in my dream feeling like I was getting drunk.
Oh.
Like that feeling. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't what I was drinking, it was the feeling of getting drunk.
That euphoria or?
No, I think the letting go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like that's all I remember.
That is a big aspect. 'Cause
like the
Sure,
you know?
sure. And the thing is, you're already such like a vibrant person as it is. Like you don't need, I mean, with respect, you don't really need anything to come out of your shell. So
it was
clearly,
draining me. Like you can see it in the pictures now of like me before I got sober and now just my skin like looks different. Celeste was the first one to say it. She was like, "Oh, you're glowing," and I didn't see it at first. But now when I compare pictures, yeah, it's like I mean I just was I was a walking hangover for so long.
Is it nice? Is it kind? Is it okay to reveal how much weight you've lost since you've gotten rid of
I
this?
happily reveal it. As of right now, from when I started in November of 2023 to now, I've lost around 55 pounds.
55 pounds.
I still have a little ways to go, but
Yeah, and that's, you know what, not to use the word crazy, that's crazy because you
It's
look
wild.
fantastic.
Thank you.
No, not just is it wild, just the fact that you've lost that much weight, you know what it's taken already, and you still have goals and you still have things that you want. Like I know a lot of people that lose 5 pounds are like, I'm good, I'm done. But the simple fact that you see this picture in your mind that you can just, I feel like you're almost, not only are you almost reaching it, or and you have reached it in certain ways, but you still are like, no, there's so much further I can go, and that's rare.
No, because there's other things. To me, it's beyond the number on the scale. To me, it's beyond the bikini, right? Because I've said it for the longest. I'm very honest. Like a big part of my goal is that I just want to fit in a bikini again, a 2-piece. But like one of my bigger goals is that I want to dance samba again. Okay. But like samba is very athletic. It's very fast. I need to build up strength in my knees again. It's part of what I'm doing with my training. And like that's one of my goals is that I want to dance. Like I miss dancing. I've been a dancer all my life. When I broke my ankle and I had to have surgery, the first thing I asked, they told me as soon as I came out of anesthesia, the first thing I asked was, can I dance again? And so that's my goal. Like I want to feel good in my body and I want to dance.
I have to ask, when you felt those things of like, I'm never gonna dance again, did you hear George? Yeah, did you hear George Michael in your mind?
You know that's where the Whisper Lounge, like the idea of the Whisper Lounge came from.
I
was
didn't
because
know that. Careless Whisper.
because I was singing. So my Oaklash friends came over for a pool party, and all the queers had taken over the pool, and the queer takeover is wrapping up, and the straights are taking over, and they're playing their music at the hot tub. And as we're leaving, Careless Whisper is playing, and I start singing it to Charles. And then the next morning, I'm walking Honey, and I'm literally playing with this concept, and I'm talking to ChatGPT, and I'm like, hey, Chat, what about this idea of like a secrets podcast called Careless Whisper? But then I was like, what about trademark? And then playing around, Whisper Lounge was born.
Sure enough, yeah. I like, what did you say about the gays and the straights clearing out the pool?
And the queers. The queers.
Oh, nice. Just all of a sudden you hear a whistle and you're like, it's Queer Adult Swim.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Except for a whistle, it says, yes!
Yes!
It's fan clacking.
That's funny. That's pretty funny. Keeping on the vein of big goals, big manifestations, big changes,
we like to manifest
and things.
around
we
here.
do love the manifestation. Yeah, in fact,
Look at this.
we got a board, people. It's crazy. Literally, we sat down, 2-3 days ago. We came up with, again, wonderful person over here. I have goals. I have aspirations. I have things. Rarely do I write them down, for one. And rarely do I write them in such detail ever. I mean, I can't remember the last time I used a whiteboard for anything besides to be made fun of. But we wrote some things down, both personally for ourselves and collectively for this show, and they're already happening.
Powerful manifestors be powerfully manifested.
Yeah, and
I told him, when we first were, reintegrating, reconnecting, re-getting to know each other, there was a lot going on. And there still is. There always will be, right? But I remember at one point asking you, are you ready for your life to change? Because if you are, then stick with me.
And that's a big thing for me personally, because I have had many a folk spin yarns of, if you do this, if you listen to that, I promise you this. And it rarely does it ever manifest into anything. But for something that's already so well established to come in at its height and then build a different sort of perspective with the original person never happens, right? Like sequels tend to never go well. But you've already started something so bold and vibrant and fun, and then we're blending like the wildest characters from my side of the world, like comedy and music and just weird musical theater kids, adding to what you've already pre-established.
Which
it's
is
a lot of
comedy,
fun.
Musical theater kids, weird,
Yeah,
fun.
no,
they're just queer and colorful.
Yeah, everything I thought I knew about drag specifically, one, completely wrong. Two is the aspects of things that are like, the comedy, the stage performance, like the sound, the makeup, like every core piece is applicable in both worlds. Yeah. And the gals that can do both, jealous, because they fit, it's just, shout out to our future guest. Oh, thank you. Friend Zaya, who we'll get on pretty soon. We went to high school together, knew her as a wonderful actress, had her on my show. She did both a 7-minute murderous set for me and then did her version of a condensed drag deal for me. And I was like, star, absolute star. And the fact that we could get both worlds integrated is just amazing to me.
Well, remember you were venting about, the life of an up-and-coming comedian is very similar to the life of an up-and-coming drag person. It's just, and you were, and it's part of it as hard as like the pay scale, right? And like that's why I like talking about money. That's why I like saying that, one of my goals with this show is to make sure that every guest is paid, because so much of what artists do is unpaid. It's favors. It's $1. Yeah. And we were talking about that, and I was like, well, aren't you glad that at least you don't have to like pay for a wig and makeup?
Yeah. No, I probably should. I feel like it would be a fun experiment.
You probably would do so well in drag.
Maybe. Yeah, my political satire alone. But you know what? Let's talk more about the wondrous person that is you.
I'm so not used to this.
I have to know the answer to this. What film, TV show, or live performance made you go, I'm next? I have to be on a stage. I have to be performing. I have to, like, was it a character? Was it an actor, actress? Was it something specific? Okay.
I think Oaklash did. I don't think I ever saw myself as a performer, much less on a stage, until I started seeing Oaklash as a thing. And seeing such different types of drag be given a stage. And seeing so much experimentation and so many different types of drag. And then on the podcasting side, Keith and the Girl, like seeing them do it for the longest time, because I had a baby podcast years ago that just didn't work out for a few number of reasons. But so I've it's like, it's been a thing, and then just over time it's refined, and over time I think I said it in episode 100 that a few years ago I started saying, if you shoot for the moon but land in the stars, at least you're surrounded by stars. And each time I'm just picking a new moon to shoot for. Okay. But I just keep getting surrounded by stars.
I like that. Yeah. I love very quotables, potent quotables, as I call them, as if I was on Jeopardy.
Patent.
Yeah. And for some reason, as you were telling that story, I was like, were you watching Grease when you had this big?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Grease?
No.
Wow.
I know that you're the one that I want. That's all I know.
It's a very I don't have time to explain the plot of Grease, but even I know that's a great film.
Teen pregnancy, right?
There's elements of it all.
Bad girls, good girls, good girl gone bad, bad guy gone good.
The actress who played the teen was clearly in her 40s. That's crazy. Yeah, one of the most fun aspects of this show so far has been the blending of what I consider the known and the unknown.
Okay,
Right?
talk to
Like
me.
I said, obviously drag super unknown to me. And
Okay.
like I said, I see super key details or whatever. But as we're moving towards doing things like a live show and bringing on shout out the live show, by the way,
Hey.
and
It's cooking.
sort of the
It's in the kitchen. Hey.
sort of the guests that we're bringing on. I know a little bit so far of the weeks, months that we've been working together. But my next question is, in terms of inspiration, in terms of like I have to jot this down, I have to think this thing, I have to get it out in the universe. Like, what is in your best estimation, is like you're like gotcha, gotta have it thought process of like when something comes to you?
Oh, well, I'm a chronically online semi-gay.
Okay.
So I'm very like meme culture-fied.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize the value of like an aha moment, a giggle, or even like an ew, because they're all visceral reactions.
Right.
And so I'm always fishing for that at the end of the day. But I don't like an ew, I like a yum. So I'm always hunting for a yum. And again, it's like I say it, that like, when I was pitching to Rod the idea of the show, and he was like, oh, and he had like a very genuine like, oh, I like it. I was like, yes, that's what I'm always on the hunt for.
Okay.
Like that feeling, that reaction. And like when I feed somebody and they just go, like you can't fake a real
Can't
You
fake
know
the
what I
funk.
mean?
Can't do it.
And so did that answer the question?
That absolutely answers the question. Yeah. Okay. So we know. Okay. So obviously we know where your humble beginnings start in
Humble
theory.
beginnings in Puerto
right?
Rico.
In Puerto Rico. Yes. Do you feel that that you sort of have that duality of old home, new home, sort of different upbringing and stuff, that that's sort of where your zest for life comes? Because when you went on your trip, to be clear, once you see that episode, when you went on your trip, you left. When you left and when you came back, you're a vastly different person. Like, just straight up, like your energy seemed to come back, your drive and just general sense of happiness seemed to change just for that little pocket of time. And do you feel that sort of way in any other place than Puerto Rico?
I'm going to answer that. And you're going to ask me that question again because this is going to time out in about a minute. So
I was wondering, do you remember that you have a Patreon?
wait, I have a Patreon?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Not only do you have a Patreon, but you also have a certain level of each Patreon that each person can aspire to become.
Yes, you can aspire to be one of my patrons.
What is the first level?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked the honey level. And in the honey level, you're going to get a sticker in the mail. You're also going to get production credit.
Hey.
And you also get access to hot cam footage, editing footage that used to end up on the editing room floor digitally, that now ends up in your hot little pockets in your honey level of the Patreon.
What
Yes.
is the second tier?
We have a sugar tier. In the sugar tier, you're going to get not one sticker. You're going to get 2 stickers in the mail every month. You're going to get the production credit.
Hey.
You're going to get the hot cam footage.
Okay.
But you're also going to get the new Patreon exclusive What's in My Snurse, and or just other Patreon exclusive content that would not be at the honey level, because honey, you're okay, but you're not sugar. If you take sugar and you throw it in a pot, put a little heat on it,
Okay.
you get caramel.
There's a caramel tier now?
That's the top tier.
Okay. I have to know, what is in the caramel tier?
What's in the caramel? You get 2 stickers in the mail every month. You know that you also get a little note handwritten by me?
What?
Yes, everybody gets a note with the stickers.
Well, that's fun.
I mean, it's like Christmas, I told you.
Okay.
You get the stickers. You get the production credit because you're what? A producer.
Hey.
You get the hot cam footage. You get the snurse footage. You get the other Patreon exclusive footage, but you also, and we are coming up on the first drop of these that people are going to get t-shirts in the
Look at these.
mail, because every 6 months, the caramel level gets a t-shirt in the mail. So yeah, so that is the Patreon.
Patreon!
So you asked a great question. I don't even want you to rephrase it. It was really, really good.
Good, because I won't remember it.
But we did have to cut there for a second. So the pocket of happiness that I brought back from Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting because I don't know. Like, I hadn't been home in so long, and I hadn't felt some of the feelings that I had. Well, because the last time I went to Puerto Rico, I went to say goodbye to like my grandfather that was dying. And before that, it had been a really long time. Like, it's hard. Like, I now make enough money that like, oh, it makes it a little easier to go to Puerto Rico from California. But like, going from Puerto Rico to California is expensive, right, and it takes a long time. And so if you're going to go for like a long time to make it worth it. I didn't always have a job that allotted me enough time to go do it. Mm-hmm. So it was a luxury. Like, going home was literally a luxury for the longest time. Yeah. And I have been like an orchid that was transplanted to the Bay Area and just found a way to survive. Mm-hmm. And I've been surviving and I've thrived. But, you know, that authenticity and like that zest of life, like, yeah, that's very like comes from growing up in Puerto Rico. And like it was refreshed, it was re-sparked in me by going home. Mm-hmm. In like in a way that like I wasn't even expecting.
Right. So some folks know this, some folks don't. You better if you've been paying attention. But one of your favorite artists is actually Bad Bunny, who...
Somebody told.
Yeah, somebody told. See, I'm still learning.
No, I mean, not everybody calls
Born and raised in Puerto Rico, correct?
Yes. He was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and he's like bringing so much attention to the island because Puerto Rico has been through so much, and they just need like a little boost. And it's amazing what he's doing for the island. I'm so jealous that I can't be there for the residency this summer, but it's not fiscally responsible, and I'm trying to be fiscally responsible.
Unless with your help, we can let this one be a little bit nice to herself, because I think
the tickets are sold out.
You know what? When there's a will, there's a way. Okay.
No, you know, I'm manifesting that they teased. It looks like my prediction might actually be correct, that he's starting the tour in Puerto Rico by doing this residency, but then there was a tease of other countries, not the U.S. next year. And if those are real, and if those are the only other dates, I'm going to either be in London or Mexico going to a Bad Bunny show.
See, we're talking about manifestation. It's absolutely possible. I am curious, you know, given obviously the cultural and sort of fiscal impact that his music and sort of his whole essence basically has established there. Take us back a little bit further. I'm just going to ask, is there anyone in your lifetime, either back home in Puerto Rico or here, that was slightly reminiscent, that was like your basically your either your celebrity crush or just, you know, like as impactful as Bad Bunny when you were growing up?
You know, for the longest time, the one artist that I can remember that had like a long-term impact like that and big like that I can think of was Beyonce for a long time. Okay. Like, I remember living with Billy, and that was like the first time that I had moved out to live on my own. Okay. And I remember it was Dangerously in Love, when Dangerously in Love, her first solo album, had come out. Mm. And I remember like the CD came with like a fold out poster, and I had it on my wall. And like Billy, my ex-roommate, my ex-friend, he loved getting like the girly magazines and then ripping them up and putting them on the wall. Mm-hmm. And then I just started doing it with him. And I still have like old show magazines and like old school, like, you know, glamour magazines, because I just always loved the aesthetic. And yeah, so for a long time it was Beyonce. And like I remember, shout out Omar, my ex, there was one of these questions that now I ask people, and I'm pretty sure it's a Snurse question in a way, that if you could only listen to one discography, like one artist's discography for the rest of your life, who would it be? Mm-hmm. And he's a DJ, so like he takes this question very, very seriously. And I remember looking at him dead straight and saying Beyonce, and he looked at me like I was insane. Mm-hmm. And when Renaissance came out, I called him and I was like, still stands.
Yeah. What about now, bitch?
But now I've kind of like, Beyonce has moved on to this kind of like, she's just in the universe now, and now I'm allowing new stars to come into my world, and so now I'm like really into Ariana Grande, and like I've really gotten into Charlie XCX and like Chappell Roan, and you know, just letting new little starlets into my universe so that I can hyperfixate on them.
Yeah, I've recently started listening to Post Malone a lot more, just based on the fact that the sort of like the dearth of artists that he's brought on, and like
a lot of people like working with him.
I mean, to be clear, I'm not saying that I'm musically illiterate anyway. I've grown up with music. I love music. But like, not gonna lie, my biggest flex was I used to formerly know all the lyrics to "Walk This Way" because Run DMC and Aerosmith popped on there together. Like, just like
flex.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I thought it was cool.
And your words.
I thought it was cool.
That's a hidden talent. I don't know.
I don't know if this is a snurse question, but it might be now that I think about it.
What's in my snurse?
Who, if anyone, would be your dream musical collaboration?
Ooh, I mean, it would have to be Bad Bunny.
Yeah, with.
Oh, like I'm mashing him with somebody else?
Yeah, collaboration, yeah.
Oh, you know, actually, Bad Bunny and Ariana Grande, because there's this video of Bad Bunny doing the carpool karaoke.
Sing it like Ariana Grande.
I think this is the most, the English song that I most know.
Really?
The lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I listen to English music, I like, but I never listen. This is the power.
And he is singing his little heart out to Ariana Grande, like the biggest fangirl ever. And now I want an Ariana Grande and Bad Bunny song more than ever.
Okay, let's throw it out to the universe.
Let's
Those of you who are watching,
that. Yes.
if you know any music execs, please get them A, on the podcast, and B, to put that together.
And it needs to be like a dance song, like a club song, but it needs to have some of that Latin influence in there. And like, yeah, and they need to do a music video together. And like, yes. It needs to be like a whole experience.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an interesting thought I just had because, you know,
we love interesting thoughts.
We're improvising as we go along.
That's podcasting, baby.
Was there any specific music video growing up that just like made you like, I don't know, let's just say like a Paula Abdul or something where it's like she wasn't necessarily your favorite artist, but it's like, all right, I'm getting up, I'm dancing to that.
Janet Jackson's If.
Okay. You answer that super quick.
Yes.
For me, it's either Control or Rhythm Nation for her.
Yes.
Well, that was cool. I'm glad that you came up with that because actually now that I think about it, I was like, you know what, that is a pretty banger video.
Yes. I saw her. My mom got us tickets when we lived in Washington State to see her at the Gorge, which is like this outdoor venue, and it was that tour, and it was like the stage design was amazing, and like we're just basically on this giant lawn, and like there's like this just like giant red stone gorge behind the stage, and like it was amazing, and she puts on a show.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a Jackson.
Sure. You know, Janet Jackson's one of those folks, like, you know the old adage of never meet your heroes? I'm not saying that she's a hero of mine, but she's
Did you meet her?
Gorgeous. No, not at all. I wish. I'm talking about manifesting. No, I mean, she's gorgeous and she's super talented. I just think she would be like a really cool person. But
I don't know, man. She gives like... She's touched some realms of like fame and wealth. Like she was married to like some like Dubai prince or something like that for a while. Like
I'm at the fact. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No.
Oh, she was?
Yes.
Oh.
Like I don't
So
know if
you
he's
know
a
about
prince,
him.
but like for a while there, yeah, that's why now when she performs, she's not as revealing. Like she doesn't dress as revealing anymore. She's not with him anymore. But that's who she had a baby with. She had a baby like in her 50s. And yeah, and like, yeah. And so again, she's seen, and like her brother was Michael Jackson. Like there's just certain levels of like fame and or wealth that like me and you could just never relate to them.
Yeah.
Like
first of all, I'm going to make double that in my lifetime. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I completely agree. No, there's something insane about the lack of ability to just like imagine if you leave your house to just like grab a newspaper and everyone's like, oh my god, it's so and so, and you can't live there. Like you have to set up a moat, you have to set up security. Like it's just insanity.
We would not relate to them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to.
I barely relate to the commoner, you're right? So I can only imagine how that would go.
You wouldn't want to relate to some of these people.
That's true. Okay, the next question just popped into my head. This is very what's in my snurs as we go along. So
it's what's in your MERS.
Ooh, what's in your MERS? I'll go with that one. My next question, if I may.
Do you know what a MERS is?
It's a man purse?
Yes.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
We're learning. It was on the quiz.
The entry quiz to get the job.
Besides Bad Bunny, besides Janet Jackson, because of course is amazing. We clearly agree. It would be to meet and or hang out with those said folks.
I'd hang out with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny looks like he has a good time still. Which is part of this whole album is that like he went back home. And, like, part of the press tour was, like, he went to the local news, and, like, literally did the local news for, like, the morning.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There you go, Bad Bunny. My question being, if you were to step into an elevator.
I keep taking over my own show.
No, you're good. You're all good. It's totally allowed. We're going to have to check with the lawyers at the end of this. No, but.
The ones I work for.
Yeah. If you were to be stuck in an elevator for more than 10 minutes.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny is eliminated, and so is Janet Jackson.
And that's the battery.
You do. This is fun.
Okay, so superstar, elevator, not Bad Bunny. Finish the question.
So the question, I believe, was if you were
What's in my MERS?
What's in my MERS question? If you were to be stuck in an elevator with any celebrity that's not Bad Bunny and not Janet Jackson, to be clear, because again, that'd be wonderful, but they are eliminated. Anybody else, who would it be?
Gosh. The Rock, because I can climb on him and get us out of there.
Hey, shout out Dwayne Johnson. If
Yes.
you're busy, you probably are with all your films.
And his wife.
Come on to our podcast.
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like,
that too. Sorry.
I feel like we could talk about anything you wanted to, and we pay you. So not handsomely compared to what you make just breathing, but something.
It would still be a favor.
Something to fill your Tesla or whatever it is.
I don't think it would.
It's worth a shot. We're talking about manifesting. You know what? Speaking of which, that comes to my next question, if I may.
Sorry.
What is the most so far? What is the most unrealistic thing that you're manifesting that is absolutely going to be realistic in no time flat?
Silly answer or real answer?
Both. We got to have both.
Silly answer, Ariana Grande on the show. Real answer, sold out MeMeCherry's Big Bake.
Okay. That's a real... Actually, you know what? To be fair, both are reasonable because Ariana's right over there. No, that'd be crazy.
Can you
that'd be cool.
What? This is my apartment, and I half believed you for half a second.
Okay, well, I just did my best Roger Lodge, and that worked.
No, this was just pure delusion, taking over for a second.
And you know what? Because here's the thing. Why do you want to live in a rational, illusional world as it is? Be Delulu, folks.
This world is
it's
nuts
too
as it is.
the way that it is doesn't work anymore. So we might as well just believe in things. Okay, cool. So get Ariana on the podcast. That's a thing. And yes, help us fill out where will this bake be?
It's TBD.
TBD.
But I am in talks with an iconic queer venue in San Francisco.
It's can't tell you yet.
It's
yeah.
But I'm in talks, and August is our target.
It is our shooting date, yes.
We have a potential date in mind. I'm just waiting to find out from said venue what I need to do to lock in said date. And once things are signed, I'm guessing we can then talk about being the venue.
Here's the deal, folks. In improv, you're not allowed to say no. So I'm going to take over this little segment. Here's the deal. We are going to have a bake, not a roast, but a bake of this amazing human being right here. And the way that we do that, a bake, like I said, is like a roast, except we say nice things
in a mean way. That's my idea
about this person over here. But here's the deal.
I could never do a roast.
Between now and August, not only will we have new, fresh, exuberant, amazing guests, we're going to put on a half and half, if you will. We're going to have drag stars. We're going to have comedians. We're going to have crazy folks galore. And we don't have the ability to do that without your help. How do you help? You send me an email at Seamus@SOFEpod.com with your guest ideas, with your shirt ideas, with any ideas whatsoever. So by that point in August, we have enough of a following that your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your cousins, your aunts, your nieces, whoever, doesn't matter.
And their little dogs, too.
To have enough of a following so we can have the biggest guests, the biggest bake, the biggest experience we can have, because this person legitimately deserves it. Because I've been to roasts, whether it's at Cobb's Comedy or other venues throughout the Bay Area, and it's fun. It's great. But this idea is so insane.
It might just work.
It might just work.
So yeah, the idea, it was just a few different things kind of coming together in my mind. I wanted to bring drag and comedy together. Obviously a live show, a live podcast. But I started playing around with this idea of like a nice roast, aka a bake, where we say nice things to each other in a mean way. And enough people giggled at me when I said it that my Delulu brain said, I'm gonna make this a thing. And so we're doing a baking themed live show. You're gonna come, you're gonna see some drag, you're gonna see some comedy, you're gonna see some potting, aka we're gonna play some silly games like MeMeCherry likes to do. We're gonna wash and rinse and repeat and do that a couple times. And then to culminate the show, we will have the bake of MeMeCherry, aka we all say nice things to each other in a mean way. And then maybe, just maybe, I'm trying to convince my drag mother to also maybe close out the show with a Mommy and Me number, but we'll see.
That'd be fun.
But yes. So, and then I'm also trying to convince somebody else to come and be a special guest, but we'll see if they can make it out here to be a special guest. But yes.
She gets to be vague for copyright reasons, but again,
I just don't like, until things are things, I just, don't want to
This is the great point of being the foil of this show, is that I can just scrape the line, just push a little bit to the point where the lawyers don't know what's going to come next. But again, yes, between now and then, I'm asking you for your help, because without your help, I can't make this show what we agree it's going to inevitably become. Because trust me, I'll put on all my comedy buddies every night of the week. I don't care. But the folks we have coming, very exciting. The ideas we have coming, even more exciting. But again, we need you. So sign up for the Patreon, follow us on YouTube, check out my stand-up on Instagram, do all the things. That's all we're asking.
Do you want to maybe ask me a couple more questions about the last 8 years?
I absolutely want to ask you more questions about the last 8 years, and I love that prompt, and we're going to cut the original part.
Hi, Patreon.
So, given the fact that you've been doing something for 8 years, take me back to the moment you thought, I want to run my own show. What did it look like? What were your goals? And what at the time was your biggest obstacle?
It's funny. I've half mentioned it on the show, but I will happily revisit this. So I mentioned I had a podcast many, many years ago, Lube It Up and Stick It. And for various reasons, I've talked about it on the show, I had to give it up. And so then for many, many years after that, I kept wanting to have a podcast again. To the point that I kept talking about it. And the day I met Omar Johnson, my now friend ex, but literally the day that I met him, it was part of my game that I was thinking about having a podcast. And do you want to be a guest on my podcast? It was so delulu and so ridiculous. I had no podcast. We date for a while.
Too long, one might say.
And then when he broke up with me, I said, I'm going to do that fucking podcast. I'm going to show that motherfucker. Because there was at one point that I said something about the podcast, and he said something sassy to me like, oh, when are you going to do the podcast? He called me out. And I remember it just burned in my brain. And then, it's like we jokingly, Mama Celeste in Florida and I, we joked that it was out of spite. But it was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to show that motherfucker. And then it stuck. And I found it along the way, because when you go to the Patreon and listen to The Vault, the first episodes are crunchy. It was me figuring out what it was. Am I a recap show? Am I just telling you what I like? Sure. And then along the way, I found kind of the interview format, and then that kind of became a thing. And then it kind of became a drag podcast for a while, and I never wanted it to be a drag podcast. And so it's had evolutions over the time. I mean, it was audio at first only. There was no video. And when it became a video podcast, it was in the pandemic over Zoom.
Right.
And so like even this camera was like an investment in the last 5 years of making it like me stepping my pussy up, like RuPaul likes to say.
I have yet to hear that quote, but
step your pussy up.
I've step it up.
Yeah,
step
your
it
pussy
up. Well, thank you for that answer. I appreciate the honesty, the truth, and the funny thing is, you have answered the question in some form or function, but the way that you doubled and you're like, let me tell you this.
Hi, Omar.
So we do know the trials and tribulations, obviously now.
Yes.
But in terms of like, what would you say either day 1, day 1,000, or up to today has been your biggest joy in terms of doing this podcast?
Ooh, being able to interview people that I look up to. Like the fact that I sat across the table from Bob the drag queen and had Bob on my podcast. The fact that I sat across the table from Willem and had Willem on the podcast, who I love. Willem is my all-time favorite drag queen. Having people like Peaches and having Peaches return onto the podcast. Like that's an honor.
Hell of an episode, by the way. Both episodes, honestly.
And but at the same time, and I've said this before, a little bit of a broken record, but there's also a joy in some of the stories of like some of the people that like aren't like these like names, like my massage therapist, Sam Sebastian, who had, to me, like one of the most impactful podcasts that I've recorded, because just his raw honesty about his story and where he's come from, and talk about trials and tribulations. I mean, listen to that podcast. And so being able to share those stories, I think it's important. I've talked about it with Celeste, that I think that my podcast is part fun, but part time capsule. Like when Celeste was first on, Oaklash was but like an idea. It was going to be the first Oaklash. It's now a 501c nonprofit organization.
Right.
That's her full-time job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you've lost some folks along the way. So when you say something like a time capsule, not only are you honoring your own memory, but you're honoring those who are no longer with us, which, it's tropey. Yeah, that's whatever. But it really is true, is that in certain ways, certain folks' memories don't live on without you. Yeah. And that's huge, especially in the community that you reside in. You know? And that's something to hang your hat on. Yeah. I know. So, next.
We have 1 minute, and then we'll switch over, and then we'll do one more segment.
Sounds good. 1 minute.
Go.
In my crumble opinion. Hi, I'm Phoebe Cakes, and you're tuning in to In My Crumble Opinion. Hello, my little crumb whores. Hi, my little crumb dumpsters. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers. Welcome, my little crumb dumpsters. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers. Hello, my little crumb hungry sub pigs. Hello, my little crumb buckets. Hello, my little cum lovers. Oh my god, I said cum lovers. Hello, my little crumb lovers. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow me on all social media platforms.
Oh my god, that was so gay.
Yeah, that was gay. Once again, I am Phoebe Cakes. In my crumble opinion.
One more time.
Oh.
They were back. We've returned.
Wow.
I felt a little Phil Collins on that one.
Yes.
So
my dad used to play Phil Collins. That was such a like core.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You fuck with Phil? Cool.
My dad, my father, my biological father. It's just funny. Like, yeah, when I hear Phil Collins of a certain era, it makes me think of Grajales. That was interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that my celebrity lookalike could manifest that for you, or could employ.
That's a good thing.
Hey, Phil, when he had hair, could fuck.
No, Grajales is the one I'm
sorry.
talking about.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. How about this?
Tell me.
In terms of the 8-year.
Tell me, lean out of frame, sir.
8-year journey. No, I'm back. We're here. It's just the arms. The arms want to go and work out.
Because they're wide.
Yes. What would you say your greatest lesson has been in terms of doing the podcast?
Lesson. The power of tenacity and the power of stick-to-itness.
Okay.
because I put it down so many times and I almost gave up so many times. And I did give up a few times along the way. And then something in me, whether it was pettiness or jealousy or some human emotion in me that stirred something up that made me want to throw myself back into the gladiator ring that is entertainment, because ultimately that's the other thing, is that like this is not an easy industry to like be in. And especially when you're doing something like podcasting, because it's very, you know, about you, and you have to be authentic and you have to be real, and you know, there's a lot of vulnerability in that if you want to make real authentic content. And so there's a lot that you learn along the way by being authentic and real in a public way for public consumption.
I was just going to ask, it's funny, you just jotted my brain of a question I was going to ask, is do you even seem to understand the impact you have via giving voices to people on your show? Have you even like wrapped your head around that? I
honor it. I value it. It's why I put so much of myself into it. Blood, sweat, money, tears. Yeah.
See, she even gave the most Mimi answer of that. I try to throw her a softball of like, brag about yourself. No, the simple fact of the matter is that, like I said, there are people that have been on this podcast already and will continue to be on this podcast. Patreon exclusive, by the way. Does not happen without all that you've sacrificed. Does not happen with the fact, besides the fact that you already have a much higher paying job than this situation. You have other things. You hang out with much more cool, sort of famous folks, and you spend a lot of days with me trying to help out my career, not just your own, but other people as well. So you really should be applauded for that.
You gotta feed the garden that you eat out of. You can't really see it here, but I'll edit it in so that you can see it properly in the frame. But this is one of the Patreon exclusive stickers for this year. It's something that I say all the time. You have to feed the garden that you eat out of. And we're all a garden. You're a walking garden. I'm a walking garden. We're constantly shedding. We're constantly pruning. We're constantly growing. Sometimes we're blooming. And I just truly believe in that. And I believe in the power of abundance, and believing in abundance and flow. Like the more you let things flow and the more you give, the more that energy flows back to you, and the more you get back, and sometimes double, triple fold.
Yeah. No, not only does she manifest what she puts in, she gets out. And even if you're a hoe, you're welcome in our garden. Just going to say that. Actually, we have a lot of hoes.
You're here.
Yeah, it's true. Myself and all the other landscapers we have in our garden.
Hey, cakes. Hey, house of cakes.
So we've spoken about some future manifestation. We've talked about the bake, which I will mention every episode if I have to from now until August, whenever.
We're going to.
We're absolutely going
marketing.
to. What are some other cities you want to take this crazy ride to while we're working together?
Well, we are going to Vegas in a couple of weeks.
That's correct.
When this comes out, we will not be there yet. So this will still, when you're listening to this, we are preparing. I'm probably already preparing my packing list while you're listening to this. But I'm so excited. Our booking calendar, I mean, what is it? What's today? Today is the 7th, and we leave in 20 days.
20 days.
And we only have 3 spots left in our booking calendar.
Crazy. I thought we'd have all of them open. Just 3. Just 3. So shout out to the folks that have already signed up. We appreciate you very much.
Yes. And I mean, some amazing people and some people that I'm excited to meet. Some people, one person that I'm very, very excited to reconnect with that I have not seen in years, and you all have not seen in years. And I cannot wait. This is such a gag. Like, I'm not even going to say it. Some of you know who it is, but I don't want to say it. I want the episode to drop and I want everybody to gag. But yeah, I'm so excited for Vegas. And Vegas is going to be a content machine trip because we're going to be recording podcasts. I'm going to be doing my next Jenna Marbles recreation video. I'm going to be recording Whisper Lounge content. You are getting stage time. You already got booked for 1 gig. We're trying to get you booked for at least 1 or 2 more.
Yes.
We get to go see Kiki Maroon's show. I'm so excited. Thank you, Kiki, for giving us tickets.
Shout
I
out,
really
Kiki.
appreciate that. So I'm excited to see the Mavericks show. So that's going to be Vegas. Then I was thinking, and I was thinking at first that my birthday trip next year would be Hawaii, but then after I came back from Puerto Rico, I was like, I kind of want it to be Puerto Rico again. And so then what I think might happen is that for December, we take the podcast and my day job to Miami. And then from Miami, I hop and pop over to Puerto Rico for my birthday.
Hey.
And I think that might be the plan. I don't know if you're coming to Puerto Rico with me or not, but
I'll work on my base. Let's work on my base tan. That's fun. Well, no, those are all.
Well, no, it's just
things.
that like I think Miami, you could definitely get yourself booked. I just don't know if you can get yourself booked for stand-up comedy gigs in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I did. No, that might be a stretch even for me. I can sell many things, but my English, not so much.
You mean your Spanish?
No. I literally mean my English. It's not very sellable, clearly. Okay, so we've mentioned yours. Mine, if I may. I mean, I'm stoked about Vegas. Don't get me wrong. I think L.A. We attempted to do.
Oh yes.
We attempted to do L.A., but due to the fires, we couldn't make it down there. So, first of all, if you're living in L.A., either you've lost something or you haven't. We love you, and we will do what we can to show support and love.
Yeah, L.A. is on the horizon. It's just. Yeah. Off the main line right now.
I would love to go to New York or anywhere in Massachusetts because I feel like I would crush out there. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun.
What if they hate you?
They probably will because I'm used to it in the Greater Bay Area. I'm still. No, it's okay. No, it's fine. That's the
shitty drag queen in me. I'm like, what if they hate you?
That's the shitty drag queen in me. So maybe
no,
that's
they're
my
gonna
problem.
love you. You're gonna do great, sweetie, because you will have had so much stage time by then that you're gonna feel confident and great. But like the reason why, and I'm joking, but not joking, but like now let's pull this thread. Like, you think you'll kill, but it's interesting, right? Like I am over here, I'm super Puerto Rican, but when I go to Puerto Rico, like I'm USified, right? Mm-hmm. So you think you would crush over there, but would you be too Bay Area liberal?
No, that's the thing is that the reason I can say that with full confidence is because I'm so universally panned while I'm here. No, I just, the last time that I was sort of in front of a raucous Massachusetts-esque crowd, I was just very honest, and I just we just sort of one thing that people get mostly incorrect about me is how Irish I actually am, because the name Seamus, like, besides
how Irish are you?
Too much. I'm sunburned now and I'm inside. No, but
it's the lights.
It's just my general lack of melanin.
But you got the tan from the lights.
Yeah. I don't know. I just have this good positive feeling because I feel like I'm more there is the feeling that like once you get further out, like to be clear, like I get out to San Jose, I feel like I can breathe. I go to Santa Rosa, wherever. It's just it's different because the first impression matters, and I've made such a poor one living in the Bay Area for so long that I just think that it's really hard to break out of that mold, and I'm a much stronger, better, kinder, smarter comedian 5 years in than I was night one, which is a very obvious statement. Yeah. But I just feel that I've grown so much as a human being, and through your help of to say that I know very little about marketing would be a joke in itself. But you've taught me.
This poor thing. This motherfucker used to hit me up talking about, can you share my flyer, please? Like, can you at least post it on your timeline so it's something that's coming from you and not me just posting some random ass post, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, it's not my fault. I'm just learning how to go full Timberlake now and go solo because NSYNC has been so terrible to me. But while we have the time, so we talked.
We have all the time.
We have all the time in the world. Good. So while we've been talking about where you've been, what potentially is next, right? Some thoughts. Something I do want to ask just about your general sense of being is just your next drag performance specifically.
Oh.
Right? Like whether it's at the Bake or, knock
general,
on whatever.
I'm trying to get booked.
Yeah. The next thing, I'm curious your process.
Ooh.
Like when you say you get a call from shout out Mama Celeste tomorrow, and it's like I have a pocket of time at this space.
Sure.
This is the theme. This is what we're thinking. With all the love and respect, go for it.
Sure.
Like, are you a deep-seated researcher? Are you wear many hats? Or are you more of like no, when I touch the stage, I'll know?
Not the last one.
Okay.
I very much prepare. I don't like to, to me, being on this kind of stage with a mic comes very naturally to me. But throw me on a stage to do a drag number. No, I want to feel confident in my lip sync. I have horrible memory, so I have to really practice lyrics unless it's a song that I've known since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And so when I did Rolling with the Homos, I literally went to the gym every single morning and practiced my lip sync on the treadmill every single morning leading up to the performance. And I, for a long time, had been working on a few concepts and talking them out. And actually it was Celeste's husband, shout out Cody, that helped me kind of come up with the concept and the idea behind my number, because I come from the drag school of Florida Man and Mama Celeste, and it's very silly, very funny, but also, conceptual a lot of times, especially Florida. Florida is just the things that come out of that brain just blow my mind. And so if I would prefer a concept over a sexy number. I would rather be silly, dumb, but have a fully realized concept like I did at Rollin' than do the J-Lo sexy number.
Sure.
That I could do the J-Lo sexy number and you throw me on the stage.
Yeah, to be clear.
But I would rather spend the month prepping for the really silly conceptual number.
I think I would try the sexy J-Lo number and I just wouldn't.
We should put you in a kimono.
I used to have a kimono. That was one of my, actually, shout out my buddy Harrison. He knows this. We used to play this weird game where I think either he got me a kimono or somebody else. It was 3 sizes too small. So I'd always hike it down.
It'd be like this.
Yeah, I would hike it down and I would order pizza, and I would just stand at the door. I'd go get the pizza, and I'd be like, was it $15 or $20? The guy's just here, just take the pizza.
Well, at least you didn't say it puts the lotion in the skin.
No, didn't have long enough hair for that.
I don't think you even need the hair at that point.
Yeah.
The kimono.
Just creepy. Just the kimono. Okay, so we've talked about the past. We've talked about the somewhat present. We've talked about the future. We've talked about your process.
Yes.
Right? Here's just a drag-specific question. What's the longest hair and makeup situation you've ever heard of? Took the longest, was the most arduous,
Well, shout out Heidi Klum and her famous yearly Halloween party that she has. So Heidi Klum does this yearly Halloween party, and she goes all out. And I think it was last year or the year before that she was a worm. And literally this giant worm, and the makeup, but she does these wild crazy things, and I know that those take all day. I know that there's some drag performers that love to feel the fantasy, so they sit in front of the mirror for hours doing their makeup. When I took the drag makeup class with Creme Fatale, that was, oh God, that was so hard. Because I don't have the patience. It's a miracle now that, Enrique, shout out Enrique, that has converted me into a high maintenance little bitch, because I used to hate going to the hair salon because I just hate sitting in the chair for too long. I just get too antsy. The ADD in me is just too much. And I think actually one of the reasons why I works with Enrique is that he swaps in other clients. So I'll just go outside and smoke some weed while he swaps in a client. And so then I'm not sitting in the chair for 3 hours. It works out. But yeah, so that's why I love really intricate makeup, and I love the idea of it, and I want to do it every once in a while. But when I did Rolling with the Homos, I did pretty relatively simple hair and makeup because I just don't have the patience for it, child.
For me, the longest makeup situation I've ever been in is I played Chief Bromden in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I think I was a junior in high school.
Tell me.
And it was 6 hours of putting on
prosthetics.
Really, no, not prosthetics. Just very I'm very pale, obviously. Just really, really dark makeup. And I know at the time does not sound great. It's the actual original novelization said that Chief Bromden had like the skin of iron and all this stuff. But no, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just teasing you.
In the original novelization, his mother was white and
it's
had.
Sorry, in the original novelization.
Just saying. No, it was also 2008. This was also the same sort of schooling that I went to that they're like, we're going to do a Michael Jackson number in chorus. It's like, too soon. And it was. Well,
soon.
This has been an amazing experiment. I mean, I can ask questions.
I challenge you to ask one more question.
One more question.
One more question.
One more question.
Let's make it a full podcast episode.
A full podcast.
Put on your pod hat.
I'm already wearing a hat. I refuse to take off the one that I have. Okay, here's a good.
One more question.
Here's a good finale, if you will.
Yes.
And this might get you in a little bit of trouble, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
We love trouble around
We're
here.
going to put it on the Patreon. Okay.
No. Make it for the main show.
Oh, you want to make it for the main show?
Yeah, we love
Oh, you
trouble
want to
around
double
here.
down? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Fine. I'm just gonna ask
Vegas,
you.
baby.
Okay. So, if
I'm gonna regret this.
there is a drag Mount Rushmore,
Oh.
who would be on the said Rushmore? Who would be on the mountain?
Oh.
I did preface and said that this might cause some trouble.
It's not gonna cause any trouble. Willem is definitely on there because Willem is my all-time favorite drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste is right next to Willem because Celeste is my drag mother. Then, this is hard. I think Bob the Drag Queen would be next to Celeste on the Rushmore. And how many faces are there? 4?
I believe there's 4.
So my 4th Rushmore drag person would more than likely be Alaska Thunderfuck 5000.
Okay, that's 4. I am new to the game, but my first thought was Patrick Swayze in what is it? Tu Wong Fu?
Yes, Tu Wong Fu.
Or Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints.
Wow. Okay.
That was a big one. It's not drag, but okay. Now I'm in trouble.
These are just your Mount Rushmore.
These are just my Mount Rushmores.
These are just dudes you want to hang with.
It's true, and I want to learn their makeup techniques. Well, this has been something. This has been amazing.
How do you feel?
Good.
Okay, I'm going to take the reins back now.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, car. Thank you for being mine. How did you feel being driven by somebody else?
I'm working on the parking.
I'm going to leave that one there. That one's really hard. So, thank you for flipping the script. You did quite well. How did it feel to be in the host seat?
Sparkly. I enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed.
Oh, yeah, I didn't let you have the sparkly mic, but nobody can hold my sparkly mic.
No one can.
We did this at brunch, but let's do this here for the Pod-aversary, specifically for the pod.
Mm-hmm.
What are you manifesting for this next year for the pod?
For the pod.
For the pod.
Well, I'll keep it as simple as this, is that I have dream guests, you have dream guests, we have dream guests.
We have dream
If we get
guests.
one of them, that's a dream. If we get 2 of them, that's a
a
special
nightmare.
dream.
No.
If we somehow figure out a way, just in this first iteration, just in this first trial run, let's say whatever date is 6 months, right? And in that 6 months, you have a guest that you're just like, how did we do this? And I am like, I definitely don't know how we do this. That is more than a win. August.
The live show.
There
is somebody that I'm really hoping will come out for the live show.
Yeah.
They're not a dream guest because they have been on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that they will come from a different state that they are in and come for this show to be a special guest for this show. But if that person does not manifest as a thing. You know, I joked at episode 100 that Bob the Drag Queen would never come back because I've been trying for years and just never got any responses to my emails. And for the first time, it's still a no. But for the first time, I finally got like a, hold on, let me pass you to the right people. And then the latest response was, he's busy right now with the press tour for the book. So to me, that's not a no.
It's a hard maybe.
It's a very hard maybe.
We like hard maybes on the show.
My toxic trait is that I love a hard maybe because it's not a no. And so I'm going to dig that little yes out of it. So I'm really hoping, I don't know if it'll be in the next 6 months, but I want to say in the next year. That would be amazing if Bob the Drag Queen would come back on the podcast. And never been on that. When I know that I know her because I listened to her podcast, and I know that when we get to a certain point of being big enough, whatever big enough is, she will come on then. But I have emailed her, and she's the type that won't say no because she's not a no sayer. She's a ghoster. She's just like an ignorer. But I also see her that she's doing more podcasts now. Trisha Paytas.
Oh.
So
I thought you could go with Oprah.
No, I really want to get Trisha Paytas on the podcast.
Okay.
Shout out Trisha Paytas. Shout out Just Trish. She's out here living her Delulu mid talent dreams. I'm quoting her. She says that it's the rise of the mids. She just and talk about manifestors, right? Like people would ask her like, what was dream gig? And she said Broadway. And just last week, but she got booked to do like a Broadway fundraiser. Oh, fun. And so she got to do like one night on Broadway with like people that she looks up to. And she basically had like a Broadway show for a night. She lit up the Empire State Building pink.
Wow.
And like that's fucking iconic.
That's crazy, yeah.
And like she's a powerful manifestor that has powerfully manifested a beautiful life for herself.